Hi, this is Chris Milkey, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Inspiring Small Business Stories podcast, something I've wanted to do for a long time, and October 4th, 2019 is episode number 1. I've always had a fascination with the courage and the stories behind small business owners. I've been one for a long time. My father was one for a long time. My brothers own a small business. So I've always been fascinated by small businesses, by the courage behind the people that do it. And I believe that small businesses are the heart and soul of any community, whether it's a brick and mortar business or someone doing it out of their home, something called a solopreneur. So I'm going to be interviewing small business owners here in the Milwaukee area, and you're going to hear some fascinating stories. You're going to hear about great products and services, and it's just going to be a lot of great stuff. So speaking of courage, the first person of my podcast is Stephanie Joy. She had the courage to actually show up and do this and be number 1. So Stephanie, thank you for that. So Stephanie Joy Photography. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
You betcha.
Forward to it.
So you started your business in 2015, which means you're probably working for somebody else at the time.
Yes.
So I want to hear your origin story.
Yeah. Well, I went to school to become a paralegal. I mean, my past, I was all over the place. Kind of discussed earlier, I was going to be a mortician, then I was going to be a nurse, then, I'm all over the place. So, photography wasn't exactly something that they discuss in career day or entrepreneurship. I wish they would. Mm-hmm. Usually it's, doctor, lawyer, nurse, something like that. I've teacher. So I am surprised it actually took me this long to get into it fully. But it really struck me when I became a mom. My son was born December of 2014, Christmas Eve baby. And that's kind of when I said I want to get a really nice camera just to document my kids' milestones, just to capture the everyday kind of life. And I just fell in love with it. I was always the girl carrying around a camera, even in high school or, college parties or whatnot, and capturing those little moments, the fun interaction. So I am surprised it took me this long to do it, but I'm happy I did. Definitely started with my kids, and that's when I decided I was going to just cut back, work part-time, stay at home, raise my kids, and kind of do this as a side gig.
Sure.
And it turned into something wonderful, and I'm so grateful. I'm going into my 4th year this fall because I started in fall.
Yep.
And it's been a wonderful journey so far.
Really
I can't believe I'm here. So
you use the words on your website, leap of faith. Was there a moment where you took that leap of faith, or was it something conversation with your husband or a friend or just internally?
Yeah, there was. I mean, I think back to when I first started, and I don't want to knock any photographers, but my kid, he got his first 1-year photos done. And I thought, that wasn't the style. The experience wasn't as great. I just thought I would have done so many things differently, or, gauge the interest differently with him. And I went home, and not that likes or shares or comments are, doesn't encapsulate you, but I went home and I created my own little studio setup. And it got more interaction than the professional ones I got taken.
Wow.
And then and there, I'm like, you know what? I think this is kind of cool. I would love to do this and work with babies all the way through, families, whoever it might be. And that was kind of it. And I looked at my husband. I said, I think I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Wow.
Even if it goes nowhere, at least I'll have fun doing it. There's really no harm.
Right.
And, what's the worst? I'll have great pictures of my kids.
Sure.
And then once I started posting photos and other families who have little kids, hey, they were little just portraits, everyday portraits. Do you do this? I'm like, no, I don't. Well, you should think about it, And that was just really nice to hear.
Right.
So the first few months, actually the first year, I'm not going to lie, probably the first year I had my camera, I was like, I'm going to figure you out. I took classes. Rather than going out and partying with friends or doing this and that, I was watching videos, YouTube videos. I was taking classes through Arts Cameras Plus. Great. Oh my God, they were so knowledgeable. It was wonderful. I learned so much. And that's when I was like, I'm going to do this. And it's been it's been great ever since.
Good,
Love
good.
it.
So I do have to say this,
Yeah.
mortician and photography
Oh my
don't really
gosh, I
go
know,
well
right?
together, so we can
I know, I
probably just
couldn't-
stay away from that, right? Yeah. So
I
tell
know.
me about your products and services. So obviously you take photos, so
Yes,
that,
yes.
one of your products is pictures,
It
right?
is.
Photos, but you mentioned there's more than that.
There is. So I do maternity, newborn, but lifestyle newborn. So I don't do the fine portrait. I love it. Don't get me wrong, but that's more like the studio kind of style. Natural light. I love shooting in natural light and always the sun. It's wonderful. So maternity, newborn, family. Family's probably my biggest one. Family photos, seniors, couples. It's never just because you got married doesn't mean you can't take photos. That's a one thing I urge people, like, do it every year. Just you would be surprised at the people during the family sessions. I pull mom and dad out for one at least, even if the kids are behind me running rampant. I always will, because sometimes the last picture was their wedding photo together
Sure.
professionally. So but yeah, I don't, and I will do smaller weddings, more the intimate. A lot of them are either second marriages, or just if they want that smaller intimate setting.
Sure.
That require no, not too many drunk bridal
Sure.
party groomsmen bridesmaids. So not ready for that
Not
quite
ready for that
yet.
just yet. Maybe you'll hire somebody that'll do that for your
Exactly,
business, right?
right,
They can handle that.
exactly. An assistant one day, right?
Yes, yes. And what about other products? You mentioned you work with small business owners.
I do, and small businesses. So I love working with small businesses and helping them build their brand up. So taking their product, a lot of product photography, or just their headshots to post on their business page.
Sure.
I love taking their product and kind of seeing, where do you want more of the moody feel? Do you want more of the slate marble look for your product? Working with them so they can build their brand to what they're envisioning. I love working with small businesses, and that's where you can be really creative, because the objects don't move.
Right.
I don't. So it's a different dynamic, and I love it.
How about pets? Do people ask you to photo their pets, and will you do that?
I love pets. I have not. I mean, aside from bringing the dogs into the sessions,
Sure.
haven't had to do anything like that. I would love to volunteer to Humane Society, though. There's a guy in New York who I follow. He's amazing. He's a world-known photographer. In his spare time, he volunteers at the Humane Society in New York, and the success rate for adoption for pets is up like 70% when he does,
wow.
because he does fun ones, like throws a treat at them or something, and so it's
fun.
like goofy.
Yes,
Yeah, I would love to do that. Every winter I try to do something that's more or less pro bono, just kind of something so I don't put my camera down for 4 months.
Sure.
And that's going to be my next one, I think. Humane Society, I would love that.
Cool.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
So you're doing a lot of different things. Do you have like an ideal client, customer, that like something you love to do more than anything else? Like if you can only take one photo, is there one photo? This is hard. It's kind of like your kids. Like which one's your favorite kid? Or
I can't answer that, to be honest. Every session is so different, and it brings just a different connection and different vibe. Like I said, there's still life from products. There's more, the posed for maternity. There's the spontaneity of like the kids, and no, I don't think I can pick. I'm
how
sorry.
about background? Anything? I saw one with a bridge that I thought was just awesome on your website.
Oh,
So
thank you.
like water versus the nature versus like being at a farm
Yeah.
or in front of a house. Is there anything in particular
I
that you
do love structures, so
Okay.
I'll never turn down like a third ward downtown Milwaukee kind of session. I just had a senior session at Black Cat Alley. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it.
So cool. I was like, this is neat. But then I do like, so I would say I like either the structures or the open field style during golden hour, which is an hour before sunset. Love that. When
Sure.
the sun hits them, it's just like the sun flares and just those nice golden tones. Those are probably my two favorite.
cool.
I urge
Good.
the people, I'm like, the late bedtimes are worth it. I promise you. Just do it.
Awesome. Good, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things I always think about with my business is differentiation. Like what differentiates us as a foot and ankle practice, podiatry practice. By the way, I'm Milwaukee foot and ankle specialist, so I've been in practice for 28 years. And we always talk about differentiation. What makes us different from everybody?
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying better because there's other podiatrists in town that are very good, but we can be different in terms of running our business, taking care of our patients, doing different things like that. And there's probably other people in your space that do a good job. But is there something that differentiates you from others in your space?
I would say, and the most common feedback I get too is the connections I make. I think it's so huge. I love to have fun, and I use a lot of prompting. So the people who are smiling in my pictures, they're literally laughing because I'll do something goofy, whatever it might be. I think that definitely. I want them to feel like I was so relaxed. That was awesome. I've had kids start the session but hiding behind their mom's leg. And I'm like, I have 25 minutes to make this turn around. And by the end of it, they're giving me a hug.
Awesome.
That is more than anything to me.
Yep.
I love that part of it. So I would say that.
Cool.
No, I don't like the stiff photo. Okay, stay there. I'm always talking. I'm always interacting.
Right.
Even if they're like, should I be smiling? I'm like, just talk to me.
You want them to be relaxed, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fun, relaxed.
Yep. So you use the word connection and fun. Like those are the two things
Yes, absolutely.
Yep,
Those
good.
mean the most to me too.
Good, good. Yeah. So what are you most proud of in your career?
I would say how far I've come. Looking back, and I always, from the start, getting down on myself and being, oh my gosh, she has like 1,000 followers, or how is she booked for fall yet? Like, that's crazy.
Sure.
And now I'm kind of in that spot.
Yeah, you look back,
not
right.
not so much the followers, which is fine because
Sure.
they're that's just a number in my eyes. But really, that's just looking back. Everyone has a day one,
Right.
know,
Yep.
and it's been going into 4 years now. But it's incredible, and the people I've met,
Right.
and I never thought I would literally make my dream become a reality. I never thought this would be my full-time job, aside from being a full-time mom, but it's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
Is there any big business challenge that you've had to overcome? You're only 4 years in, and,
Right,
and
right.
that's kind of like I'm 28 years in, so you're still kind of a startup, so
Yeah.
to speak. So anything in particular?
Challenges for me is, since I am so new, I'm just kind of starting. I'm trying to get my name out there still to this day. Like you said, there's so many photographers in the area, and they're all just wonderful. I would say the challenges would be not having a studio, a place for these cold winter months. So I have to turn people away. I hate doing that, but it's part of the job right now, unfortunately. But that would be my most concerning one. One day I'll get there, but right now I would say that's the biggest challenge, or where to go, or kind of losing a potential client.
Sure.
Because of that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely. And that's,
Yeah.
small businesses, marketing, getting their name out there
Right.
is always a challenge. I mean, again, I'm 28 years into this, and I'm still thinking about marketing every single day.
Yep,
I have
every day.
multiple people on my marketing team, and we're constily thinking about
And
how do you
stuff
market
is
your
ever
business.
changing too. You
Right.
know, you think one day Facebook's the big platform, then it's Instagram, and then it's LinkedIn or whatever, Twitter, you name it. There's always something new.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Yeah. So you seem like you're really upbeat, which is great.
Yeah.
What keeps you motivated?
Oh, my family. I mean,
Okay.
just spending time with them. They give me that extra spark I need sometimes, and just being around kids all the time, I kind of have to be that way. And just not ever putting my camera down. There's just always beauty in something. It's kind of became my third arm,
Sure.
know.
Yep.
That's a huge thing.
Sure.
And those cold winter months too, they can get you just always finding an inspiration somewhere.
Right. Right.
As far as motivation goes, you just have to follow the right people, inspiring stories. Those always motivate me. And they're around every corner.
Right.
Podcasts, things
Sure.
like this. Hopefully
Yes.
this motivates someone to,
People are going to
do
be inspired
something.
by you.
I
They're
love
gonna be
that.
motivated
Yes,
by you, which is awesome.
hopefully.
Yeah.
So little things like that,
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite business book or do you listen to podcasts?
I do. Well, right now only one, That's all I really have time for. But Gary Vee, I'm sure
Okay.
you've heard of him.
I've heard of Gary Vee. I listen to Gary Vee quite often. I was listening to him earlier today,
He's
actually.
fantastic. And I don't know if he's just vulgar and so real. And I
Right.
love that he's just like, I don't like fancy. This
Yes.
is, and my mindset ever since I started listening to him, like, oh gosh, probably over a year ago, because he kind of blew up out of nowhere, if you ask me. I never really heard of him until recently. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my whole mindset just shifted. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
My other favorite person, her name is Jasmine Starr. She was a wedding photographer turned like social curator. She helps with business branding, and she's just launching her podcast like coming soon. And I'm like, oh, it's about time. I commented, I'm like, it's about time. I've been waiting because I had to live through her Instagram posts for inspiration. So I'm so excited. So those are going to be my two go-to people, definitely.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, for podcast listeners, I mean, Gary Vee has amazing information. If you get past the vulgarity, because he is real and he just kind of says what he thinks.
And I love that.
But his messages are pretty amazing.
Yes.
And he's a lot about social media. It's not the only way to build your business, but it's certainly one of the ways. And nowadays, it's where people's attention are, right? I mean, that's where people are. They're on their phone. It's no longer the television and the radio as much. It's mostly social media. It's your phone. So he's got a lot of great messages. I listen to him all the time.
Yeah.
So just kind of like beep out the bad stuff, right?
Right.
So is there a business tip that you can share with other small business owners that, we all have our things and just one thing that, you can share with other people that might help them?
Honestly, just be patient. That is my biggest advice. I have some friends starting off in small businesses, whether it's selling makeup or the hair products or whatever it is. Don't go for that fast money. Gary Vee's a lot like that, Don't go for that. You have to become a minimalist and go for those dreams. You will be able to cut things out to put back in your business, and it will come.
Sure.
Patience.
Patience.
That is my number one. And like I said, I mean, it took me 4 years to get, and I'm still not where I want to be completely,
Right.
So that's my biggest thing.
Yeah, I think long term, right?
Patient. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I look back,
Stay
I'm one of the
patient.
most impatient people in the world.
Are
I want
you?
everything done yesterday. But I've learned that by being patient, good things come. So
Right.
I'm still impatient. I still want, all the new patients, everybody to come tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I realize that, when it comes to a small business, you have to be really patient
Right.
with everything. And
Absolutely.
there's no such thing as instant gratification. You can have some big wins at the beginning, but if you're patient with it, and you got to think 20 years down the road.
Right.
Because if you just build it slowly and build it right and put the right structure in place, your business can be successful.
Yeah.
So you're doing that.
Well, even sitting here, you could have asked me 4 years ago. I would have never thought I'd be sitting, in front of a wonderful doctor and doing his podcast. Like, how exciting is that,
Right. That's cool. Yeah.
So, it's
And you got to
great.
love technology. I mean, I would have never thought of this several years ago either. But yeah, this is great. Yeah. So what's next for your business? You mentioned you might want a studio at some point.
Yes, I would love a studio.
Like, there's something else besides that?
I would love a studio. I wouldn't mind teaching either. A lot of people who inspire me to do things, whether like YouTube videos, people who I go to, how do I get rid of that person that I learned? I would love to put that out in the universe and, let people see in an easier way. Editing, things like that, getting the post-processing side. I would love to become kind of teach, or even teaching young kids to learn how to use a camera.
Sure.
It's so amazing. Well, then again, they might just be iPhone. At that point, they're taking pretty good pictures, those phones nowadays. But there's just never going to be anything like it, just a good old camera. And I would love to teach kids to do that.
Oh, neat.
And get kind of in, it's okay to be an artist.
Right.
It's okay to kind of go off that beaten path that maybe, that's not, like I said, mentioned on career day or anything like that.
Sure.
I would love to do that.
Yeah, and you did it on the side first, right? So
absolutely.
you were working,
Yep.
You had a nice income.
Yeah.
Which sometimes people make the mistake of jumping into their own business too soon. They don't have
Right.
the income, they're just not ready for it. So, a side gig, we call it.
Yeah,
so you had a side
absolutely.
gig and then you turn it into your main gig, which is great. So teaching younger kids or whoever, maybe someday, they'll have their own job, they'll like photography, and they'll take the leap of faith
Yes.
like you did. So
the little
that's
future
possible.
entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Yeah. Do the technical schools, do you know, do they have like a photography
They do.
curriculum or program?
They do. And
So-
and there's even universities. You can get your bachelor's in it. I may be a little biased when I say that because I didn't go to school for that, but I mean, you can learn all you want, take all the exams. If you don't have the eye, you
Sure,
know, it's not
sure.
gonna be.
Yep.
I think you can
Yep.
specialize in different things, definitely, and
Yeah.
you probably learn a ton.
Sure.
But yes, I was self-taught, so I can't really,
Sure.
you know, I do have a lot of learning to do, but YouTube, art, you know, all those classes you
Yep.
can take, you can get it right there. It's right at our fingertips on our phone. So.
Sure. Yeah, you got to have a feel for it. And
Yeah,
eye
you
for
have
it,
to have
'cause-
that drive and that passion.
Yeah, because there's some
100%.
science behind it, but it's not the
Yes.
science that wins at the end of the day. I mean,
Right.
the science is the camera, the technology,
Yeah.
that type of thing. But
Lighting, that's, you know, crucial.
Sure,
But you just got to
sure.
know how to work it.
Right.
You know?
yeah, so it's multifaceted. It's not just
Yes.
one thing.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
The school's going to kind of show you the how, but there's more to it. It's
I
the
think
why,
so.
and there's
Yes.
you know the art part to it as well,
And
which is
yeah,
a big factor.
walking around and seeing something that, you know, is normal to us, like this plant or something, you know. I'm thinking like, oh, I could put a product in front. That'd be a really cool photo. It's just seeing things differently.
Sure.
I would like to see.
Sure.
Just kind of training your eye that way.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So this is one of my favorite parts of the podcast, even though this
Ooh.
is the first podcast, but it'll always be my favorite
Yes.
part because I love talking about food.
Oh,
and I love
okay.
talking about things in Milwaukee.
Yes.
So I'm going to call it like rapid fire. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite Milwaukee restaurant?
Benihana.
Benny?
Yes,
Okay.
I am a sucker for good hibachi food.
Okay.
And if you ever go there, I don't know if you're a drinker, I'm sorry if you're not, it's called the Japanese mule. So you know what a
Okay.
Moscow mule is?
I know. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't drink it, but I know what it is.
They,
Sure.
they do
Yeah.
a flip side of a Japanese mule, and instead of, what is it? Instead of lime, it's mint.
Okay.
It's so good. So yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, definitely Benihana.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to keep mine a secret for now. So
Okay.
at some point I'll reveal it on the podcast.
Yes.
Because I'd actually like to interview the person that owns that
Oh,
restaurant.
how
so,
cool. Okay.
What's your favorite beer? Do you like beer?
I do.
Okay.
I'm a simple gal.
Okay.
I'm gonna say if my go-to, I like to try all different sort. I really like stouts and porters.
Okay.
Depends on the season.
That's not very
It's-
simple. That's a little advanced.
Well, I know, but it depends on the seasons because
Right.
you know sometimes I'll have a summer shandy. It's what I feel like. But my go-to, honestly, probably a Blue Moon with an orange.
Okay, yeah, that's
Kinda
awesome.
simple,
That's way
yeah.
up there for me too.
Yeah.
So Spotted Cow for me, that's probably
yep,
my number one. I
similar.
like a lot, like River West Stein.
Yes.
But and I don't just drink local, but I love local beer.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Absolutely.
Favorite festival in Milwaukee?
Festa Italiana.
Okay.
Love the food. Not Italian. Wish I would. No one in my family is.
Okay.
But I love the food.
I'll say, is there
so
one
good.
food that you like there the most?
I think just like the pizza,
Okay.
the different varieties. I mean,
Fried calamari?
I do like calamari.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, my husband does not. Neither do my boys. They think it's the most disgusting thing. I
They'll
don't
like
know
it
why. I'm
someday.
like, come on.
Maybe eventually.
Appreciate this.
Yeah. How about your favorite custard flavor?
Ultimate cookie dough from Cops over on 76 and
High five on that one.
Yes, absolutely. It's so good. Love
I
it.
almost never miss it.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I usually have it like 2 or 3 times
Yes.
a month. So
Gotta
the fact
be-
that I know that is kind of scary.
And it's always on like a Wednesday, and I'm like, oh, I missed it, or some, some obscure day of the week.
It comes back. That's one of those
It does.
flavors that
Always.
Actually, I like Heath a lot too. That's why
Oh,
up there.
that's
And
a
they only
good
do
one.
that one time a month. So
Oh, really?
you
See,
gotta,
you
like,
got
make
it
sure
down. You
I
know
do.
how many
I lived too
times.
close to it for a while, so that was kind of scary. Yeah.
That's perfect.
How about pizza? Where's your favorite pizza place? What's your favorite pizza place in Milwaukee?
Ricardo's. Have you ever had it?
I'm not sure I have.
Oh my gosh, you guys! 2 places. One is downtown.
Okay.
I'm not sure of that one because I only go to the Greendale one on Broad Street. It's amazing.
Okay.
You have to go there.
Okay, I'll try
Ricardo's.
Ricardo's.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Broad Street in Greendale.
Okay.
Right down the block. We spend probably way too much money there. I have to get that at least twice a month.
Wow.
So good.
Okay.
I know
yeah,
it's
that's
bad.
one of my
We're
food pizza's my favorite.
I was gonna say
So.
we're huge pizza people. Pizza and pasta.
Okay. So I'm a donut lover. So what's
Oh.
your favorite bakery? Do you have a favorite bakery in Milwaukee?
I really like cupcake. I love donuts, but I would say Gigi's
Okay.
cupcakes.
Gigi's Cupcakes.
The
Yes.
gourmet.
We just had one the other day, so
I know.
yes,
I love
little
the-
mini.
Oh,
They're like doing
okay.
little shots.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. I like the big gourmet ones. All the chocolate. Give me the chocolate cake with the extra fudge. Everything. I want it all. I love chocolate.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's so good. Yeah, absolutely. So, what does success mean to you?
This question. So I'm curious to listen in the future to see what, because I'm gonna say all your answers are gonna be different. I have become a minimalist for sure. So it's really not wealth. or
Okay.
title
Sure.
for me.
Yep.
I don't care that I don't drive a fancy car, live in a big fancy house.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's how you make people feel at the end of the day, really. I
That's
mean,
great.
if you are happy with what you're doing in your life, and at the end of the day, you can just be like that, I was born to do this. I love my job. That's success to me.
That's awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
instilling that in my kids too. If my kid takes that trait that we're teaching him and just be happy, do what you want to do. Like I mentioned before, it's okay to go off the beaten path as long as it's something you love. You'll make a living out of it, and that's success to me as well. Like then I know I raised them right.
Right. Right. Yeah. So being happy is more important than
happiness.
having all the cars
Absolutely.
and the whatever. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. So tell me, how can listeners find you? We want people to be able to find you.
Sure.
So
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, stephaniejoy.mke for Milwaukee.
okay.
My website, www.sjoyphotos.com.
Excellent.
Facebook, Stephanie Joy Photography, the Milwaukee one. I think there may be one more out there in California, but
Yes.
she's wedding, so that's not me. And yeah, I think I covered everything. Or email, sjoyphotos@gmail.com for inquiries.
Excellent.
That's it. Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
You took the courage to be number one.
I am
on
so
the
honored.
podcast.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah, that's
I can't
awesome,
wait to
yes.
tune in and listen to all the
Listen to
other
other people
stories.
as well. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yes. So that's episode number 1, our inaugural episode of the Inspiring Small Business Stories. Stephanie Joy was our first guest here, and thank you for listening. And you're going to hear many more. We're going to bring in people from all walks of life, small businesses in Milwaukee. We're going to talk about what makes Main Street USA tick, and I believe small businesses are the ones that do that. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.